Behold, the biggest laptop that money can buy. We're looking at the Aorus Master 18, an 18.3-inch laptop with so many bells and whistles. This is the top tier spec and competitive with nearly all the other flagships on the market in pretty much, I think, in pretty much every way. Let's break it down for you. So we're looking at a Intel Core Ultra 9 285HX processor with a RTX 5090, total TDP of 270 watts, which means we're definitely getting 175 watts of performance out of the RTX 5090. We're also looking at 1000 nits QHD mini LED display with HDR support, 4 DDR5 SODIMM slots for up to 192 gigs of memory, and 3 SSD slots, including a Gen 5 SSD. I do not know if it has active air cooling or not, though. So I don't know, but either way, it's in there. So we've got Gen 5 support, NVIDIA Advanced Optimus, and G-Sync, 89% screen to body ratio, 6-speaker system with smart amp design. We got an LED Aorus logo on the back, no RGB here on the back. Well, no, actually, correction. There is some RGB right here on the end piece. Now, there is a bunch of RGB. On the bottom, there's an RGB light bar here. We turn the laptop back on, and so there you go. You can see the RGB along the bottom. And we're also looking at per key RGB on the keyboard, though the keyboard backlight is currently not working. So overall, this Aorus Master 18 does look very promising to potentially be a very competitive flagship product for Aorus. I feel like the last few years, I mean, the Aorus 17X, it was a nice laptop, but it wasn't in the 18-inch, and it wasn't 16:10 aspect ratio, and it wasn't a mini LED. It really wasn't even that special on the display, and then the TDP cooling wasn't up to snuff, and then the software and the firmware weren't quite right. So there's a lot of reasons why the Aorus 17X was great in many ways, but not quite fully competitive. Now, I'm hoping the Aorus Master 18 really shores up those weaknesses, and from a specs perspective, the Master 18 definitely shores up the key weaknesses with the display, with the cooling, and I'd say with the overall like SSD and RAM support. Both of those are top flagship tier desktop replacement category, competitive with the likes of the Titan 18HX, at least on paper, right? So we got to actually see what it's like in real life. Real benchmarking and testing will be the only way to determine whether this thing would actually be worth the hefty price tag. I'm sure it's going to be probably at least $3,500, if not $4,000 or more for the Master 18. So we're looking at a full-size SD card reader, a headset port, Thunderbolt 5, 2 USB-As, so that's 3 USBs on the right side, nothing on the back except some RGB, and on the left side, we're looking at our power plug, upward-facing Ethernet, HDMI 2.1, USB-A, and then another Thunderbolt 5. So a lot of ports there. Pretty much all the key ports are being covered here on this laptop. The touchpad has the Aorus logo on it, and the keyboard is the same keyboard that we've had a long time, except now we also have a Copilot Plus button, and it's still per key RGB. So very similar to previous versions in terms of overall look and feel, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I do feel like it's not quite. Maybe one area where it's still not maybe competing is in the premium feel and look. I feel like the looks could still be improved, the design aspect, but the specs, freaking top tier, I think, this year. Now I'm here in the Aorus booth. I've got the Master 16, the Aorus Elite 16, and the Aero 16X that we'll be taking a look at today. So be sure to subscribe and check out all the other CES content that I've already made. So that's it for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Brandon out.